Hello. Thank you for joining me on this, community breathwork. I've kind of wanted to do it just because I've heard back from quite a lot of you and the people that are doing that. It's the breathwork course. And so I thought it'd be nice just to bring some people together and to do some breathing and just do a short session and just as we come in building to Christmas and what's happened this year and all of that kind of stuff to try and if you practice breathwork to hopefully try and introduce you back into it or to kind of give you some momentum to keep going. And if you're completely new to it, then to offer you something to kind of spark your interest and to show you that it's not hard. It's really, really easy. And so before we start, just to remind you, there's a free guide below if you haven't got it, the 4 simple steps to self-care. And it's kind of this rooted in stage 1 really of our path to personal mastery. And I'll put the path to personal mastery, I'll stick it in the comments below it after. And really it looks at mindset and looks at breath and it looks at movement, kind of really to help you ease chronic pain, to help you give kind of tidy up your nutrition for better health, how to shift into a success mindset. And I think, this year's for me has been an amazing example of that. There's so, we've all been in this experience, whatever that experience is. And it's, you can always look at it in different ways, can't you? And there's always, not to take away the difficulty that's come from this year, but there's always new ways of looking at and gleaming positives from things. So that's below. Click the link below and follow the link. And there's also 30% off access to breath, the program this weekend. So if you haven't got it and you are thinking about it, then you can save 30% until Monday. And then just a few things, if you've got it, if you want to, it might be useful if you grab yourself a journal before we start, a pen, maybe even a glass of water, and sort of to get yourself comfortable. You don't need to be laying, you could be seated. If you want to lay during this, then go for it. It doesn't, either way. And I think on that, breathing, that when I first got introduced to breathing and yoga and, that type of self-care, I used to think you had to sit in the perfect lotus position and you had to, sit cross-legged for an hour and have a perfectly still mind. And it's, that's not what you have to do at all. And so breathing, the point of seating comfortably is to, 1, so you can kind of relax, and 2, so your body is in a nice position to be able to breathe. And so if we're not sitting properly, we're hunched over. Our ribs is home of our lungs. And then we have our diaphragm, which sits, can't see on the video, but sits just below, the top, at the bottom of your ribs, or top of your ribs, sorry, bottom of your ribs. And so that's, if we're in a compromised position, our diaphragm's not going to work properly. Our lungs can't inflate as well as they could do. And so that already is putting us in a stressed state, in a stressed physiological state. And so if we're not breathing properly, our body thinks there's something going on. And when we're in a stressed state, we're getting this whole host of release of chemicals, cortisol, stress hormones, our heart rate increases, our blood pressure increases, our body's getting ready for action. And so our energy is being diverted into our major muscles to get us ready in case we need to run, in case we need to hide, in case we need to fight or freeze in a way. And so that's a stress state. And particularly, everything this year has been, and it still is continuing to be, unknown. There are so many unknowns that we all are dealing with, whether that's, our core needs. So is our job safe? Can we earn some money? Are we getting, those type of things, all the way through to potentially, there's so many different narratives going around right now, like what to believe. And so I really love this definition of fear by Dr. Andrew Huberman. And he says that anxiety plus uncertainty equals fear. And so anxiety, what is uncertainty? Let's start with uncertainty. Uncertainty is what I've just described. It's the unknowns of what is going to happen. Are we going to go back to any form of normality that we knew? What is the new normal? Is this disease, is this virus serious? Is it Is there deeper things going on? More from a control-based narrative? Like, there's so many uncertainties we just don't know, and so there's very little we can do about that. We can kind of block the uncertainties in a sense where we can take control of what we can control. So, can we look after our health? Yes. Can we control a million different things? Can we control the security of our job? No, we can't. But we can control how well we do that job, for example. So that's uncertainty. But then anxiety is physiological state. And so that is something we can take control of. Our anxious state is physiological state, is our internal world. The uncertain world is the exterior world, and we have very little control over that. But when we're anxious, like I said, our stress response, stuff is changing within our body. And so kind of looking at really when we are in a stress state, our breath changes. So if you think back to the last time you were scared or you felt worried or you were angry maybe, your breath almost certainly changed into either breath holding or shorter, shallower breaths. You were in your chest. You were, that's certainly what I do anyway. Like, I hold my breath when I'm tense, when I'm anxious, and it's just about bringing awareness into that. First thing to do is just start awareness. How do I feel? What's going on with my body right now? And so in anxious state, when I was stressed, stress response, and stress is not bad. It really, really isn't stress. Like, for example, me, I'm talking now, I'm in an alert, I feel a rise, I'm passionate about this subject. So I feel, I'm coming on, I'm switching on, my body is ready to hopefully deliver this breathwork session. But a rest or sleep, you only have to look at, if I look at my daughter when she's sleeping, or if you look at a pet, when they're asleep, their breath completely changes. So rather than being like that, in a sleep state, they're totally different. And that's for a reason. It needs to be. And when we're breathing in a way that is calmer, that is slower, that is more, in a way, calmer and slower, we're switching into recovery state. So our immune function is optimized, our digestion, our recovery, all of that stuff is being optimized in that state, parasympathetic state. And we switch between the two all day, every day. But the problem with stress is when it becomes chronic. And so we get stuck in this almost fibrillation of stress hormones. Our body is on this agitated, kind of ready to go. And I can talk about myself, like I didn't even realize I was like this. But for me, I've come to realize and feel and experience in my own self that every single piece of emotion and trauma we experience in life is held within the body if we don't release it. And so thinking of my daughter, my 3-year-old, to see someone so young without any filters, or hopefully still without any filters, it all comes out, wow, like this big emotion of anger, or big emotion of frustration, or big emotion of fear or pain. And then there's a reset, a baseline. Whereas an adult, we learn to mask our feelings, we learn to keep it in because society doesn't appreciate it when we let it out. And so all of this stuff gets held within our body. And so I link you to something called introception. And introception simply is that we feel sensations first, our internal perception, and then we assign emotions and stories onto that feeling. So whatever you're feeling at your core metabolic being defines the image and the story that you'll portray to make sense of that. So when you're feeling calm, when you're feeling relaxed, when your body is comfortable, you're most likely, and I speak for myself, in a state of calm, in a state of, I can access gratitude, I can access, my warmer feelings are much of us right on the surface. When my body is in pain, when I've held stuff in, when I'm in some form of discomfort, in my body, that reflects in my mood, that reflects in the stories that I say that are going around in my mind. And so it's really important to get this idea of interoception. So that I want to start here. How you feel leads to the things you say and the stories that you make up. You're not doing it consciously, but that's just what happens. Our interoceptive feeling defines how we show up. And so the first kind of 3 little exercises I want to do are really about sensing this, tuning your body into what's going on within you. And so the first exercise we're going to do just for 1 minute, 60 seconds, and I'm going to keep count. So if you haven't got your journal next to you, then kind of bring it next to you, and we're going to start kind of this exercise, and just to see what you feel. And so just get into a nice comfortable position. And we're going to look at primary emotions to start with. And so primary emotions, there are 5. There is anger, there is sadness, there is joy, there is love, there is fear. So core feelings, that's it. That is it for our primary emotions. And that's why, you know, we can get so caught up in our stories and our internal narrative chatter that then portrays this scene that is being made up. Whereas if we can strip it right back and think, okay, what is actually going on with me? So this first exercise, we're going to go for 60 seconds, just 1 minute. Got my timer. And I want you to close your eyes. Before I start the 60 seconds, just close your eyes, breathing through your nose. And I want you to make your breath deeper than normal and slower than normal, whatever that is for you. And so primary emotions, we're going to start now. You're just going to check in. What is the standout emotion that you feel? Love, joy, sadness, anger, or fear? And if it's not obvious to start with, then that's fine. Just keep your awareness on your breath and just tune in to those primary emotions without judgment, without trying to work out why. You're tuning in to those primary emotions and the one that stands out most to you at this moment today. Keep bringing your mind back when it wanders. Okay. So when kind of gently open your eyes, if you have your journal next to you, then write that down. You know, whether it's love, joy, sadness, anger, or fear. And I always say to people, if you're frustrated that you can't identify it, then stick that in the anger box. Put that in the anger box. And then just reset, maybe have a drink. And we're going to do this again. We're going to focus on the secondary emotions. I'm glad you find this fascinating, Iona. Lovely to have you on here. And so the second exercise, we look at secondary emotions. And so secondary emotions are deeper emotions, deeper context to that. So for example, if we take that anger feeling, that primary emotion, then secondary emotions to, I'm not going to prompt you, but secondary emotions are could be jealousy, could be resentment, could be excitement, could be shame, could be curiosity, could be, there are deeper contexts to emotions. And again, when you sense them, we'll begin in a minute. When you sense them, try not to assign the story onto it. Try and dig into, oh, why do I feel that? Just allow it without trying to dig deep into what that is. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes again. Sit in your comfortable position with your straight spine. And then we'll tune in again to your secondary emotions, those deeper emotions, and the ones that stand out to you. Kindly bringing your mind back when you notice it wander. Keeping your breath. So for some truth and honesty within you right now. Those secondary emotions. Tuning in. And then gently open your eyes. And then record down those secondary emotions. So using the first example, I said if you're frustrated that you couldn't feel something, then that would be in the anger box. And if you still feel that, then you can write frustration, irritation. If you're feeling joy in the primary, then you could be excited. It could be whatever it is for you. So it's unique for you. You're not going to share it. It's just for you. And I think something that comes from this often when I do this in workshops is that sometimes we don't want to admit to ourselves how we feel. We're annoyed with ourselves that we feel a certain way. And so you see how that's a block already to allowing those emotions to be released. If we're not admitting to how we feel, even to ourselves, when no one else is going to hear that, how can we let that go? We can't. We are keeping it held within our body, and that's not our fault. That's the conditioning that we've all been brought up into. But until we can release it, we're getting our interoceptive feelings are defining and governing how we see the world. I hope that's making sense to you. So another thing, so our interoceptive feelings are held within our body, within our fascia, our emotions, our energy, however you want to look at it, is held within the tissues within our body, particularly our fascia. And so that could be from an injury, that could be from an accident, that could be from some trauma. It could be from a poor diet, injuries within our body. The list that's not a definitive list. It can go all the way through. Just simply knocking into a wall could hold something in your body, as light as that. And so, and the trauma, emotional trauma, doesn't have to be, extensive emotional, physical abuse. It could be that you were late one day and you were stressed on the way to work, and then when you got to work, you didn't have a chance to vent that out, to let it out, and so it's within your body. And so you do that a few days in a row, and it builds and it gets buried underneath more stuff. And so our interoceptive feeling is our internal perception, but our heart is also speaking truth. Our heart knows what's going on for us, and that's not just on a esoteric spiritual sense, like a physiological sense. Our heart is connected to our brain. there are 40,000 neurons within our heart. And I steer you towards HeartMath Institute. I'll put the links below after the video. They study the heart for 25 years. And so our heart gives off an electromagnetic wave about several feet outside of our body. And so that wave can be a coherent wave or an incoherent wave. An incoherent wave is when we are in emotions such as anger, resentment, or fear. A coherent heart wave is when we're feeling appreciation, love, or gratitude, or emotions like that. And so that is a physiological signature of how we feel emotionally. And so tuning into our body, bringing more awareness into our body is going to allow us to, one, understand how we're feeling introspectively, two, be able to let things begin to let things go, and three, we're going to begin to tune into, okay, what's actually going on within our body? And we're so caught up in our heads. Generally speaking, the Western culture, we're tuned out of our body. That's what I see so often. And so last two videos, like this week and last week, we looked at about decision making, and how if we spend more of our time within our body, we free up space in our mind, but we tune into our senses, our intuition, the genuine decision making feeling. You know that when you feel a truth, when I feel a truth, I feel a lightness in my chest. I come alive, like my chest expands. When I'm, not necessarily being in truth with, in line with myself, there's a contraction. So I don't know if that can offer you some perspective on that. If you're feeling a lightness and expansion, that's when I'm in my truth. When I'm feeling contraction, it's protection, it's a shield from someone or the understanding that I'm not quite in line with myself. So the third exercise, we're tuning into physical sensations. I want to give you a bit of a deeper level to that. And so all you're going to do, the first two exercises we looked at, emotions, emotional context. Now we're only going to tune into physical feeling. What are you feeling within your body? And again, we'll go for the same amount of time. So I invite you to close your eyes. And just tuning into what you feel. Maybe doing a light scan slowly through your body. Starting in your feet, maybe in your legs. And just working up into your hips, your gut area, your upper abdomen. Working all your way around your body, tuning in to what you feel. What do you sense? Are you contracting? Do you feel lightness? Does it feel hard to tune in to parts of your body? Just being curious. Okay, and just slowly open your eyes and come around. And then just record anything that you noticed. So that could be, it was hard to tune into your body. That's something to pay attention to. It could be that you felt restricted. So I'll give you context. For me, when I feel anxious, or I feel angry, or I feel irritated, for me, I feel it here. I feel it, that's very much in my body. That's where it starts for me. I can feel tingling all the way through my body. So that to me is energy. But what do you feel? What do you sense? Be curious of that. We're going to dive into that a little bit deeper at the end of this session. We haven't got too much to go. I want to keep it kind of manageable that you can attend for or the recording is available. Once it finishes, the recording will be up so you can watch the rest of it if you do have to go. So hopefully you've got a little bit of an understanding of how you are right now today. So you've got an understanding of your primary emotion that you're feeling in this moment, your secondary emotions, and what you're feeling within your body. And so these are going all the time in the background, all the time. They're informing how we perceive the world. And so without awareness on these things, like, you can see how we get not confused, but we lead ourselves into stories and positions that, if we come back to our core being, we can start to intercept these. And so I want to give you a few techniques to help you intercept, bring yourself back to the interoceptive level. And so I mentioned that kind of 80% of the time, you talked about something called the Proto Principle in the last 2 episodes, which you can go back to whenever. And so the idea that for 20% of effort, we get 80% of results. And so if we can spend 80% of our time within our body, that leaves just 20% of effort, and then 20% of effort in our mindset. And so we can apply, there's so many things we can do with that to make our decision making on our filters of the world a little bit less biased and a little bit less, a little bit more true. So an example of something you can put into your mindset to take away with you today is, there are so many different pattern interrupts. And so in any situation, if you're starting to feel yourself get riled up, emotional in some reason, 1, tune into your body, what's going on. But 2, ask yourself the question, do you want to be effective in this situation, or do you want to be right? If you're butting heads with someone and you're not coming to a solution, and you find yourself defending your point of being right, then how, are you trying to be effective, or are you trying to be right? And you might be right, but to move forwards and to come together, 2 humans coming together, to collaborate, to, in a professional setting, in a personal setting, romantic setting, whatever, you can defend yourself to be right all the time, but that's coming at the expense of the quality of that relationship. And so how can we compromise? And that's just one pattern interrupt that you can do. The second one that I want to introduce you is, does this situation inform me, or does it affect me? Does it inform me? Is it giving me accurate data? Or am I just reading it? So an example would be, social media. So much is going around right now about the validity of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that now, but I'm saying, if you're getting your ideas from something, is it actually giving you genuine data, accurate data? Do you know it's accurate? Or are you getting an effect? Like, is it just causing an effect in you? Is it affecting your physiology? So coming back to the interoceptive feeling, are you getting a rise in emotion? Are you getting change in sensations within your body? And so if you can spot that, we can do something about that. And so that's what we're coming on to now. So first one we're going to do is called a coherence breath. And simply being, we're going to do a 5-second inhale that I'm going to guide, and then a 5-second out, exhale. True coherence is 6 in, 6 out, but we'll start at 5 because it's a little bit more manageable for most. Okay. Again, I'll need to close your eyes. And I'm going to guide this, so you're not going to worry about counting or anything. I just want you to tune into your breath and tune into the feelings within your body. Okay. First, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to your breath and tuning into what might have changed for you. Maybe you feel calmer. Maybe you feel more stressed. And trying to shift out of your mind and into your body. How does it feel within your body? Maybe you want to write that down if something stands out to you. So I'm not talking about today, but we did a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale there. That's not a magic number, and that's going to feel different in a live workshop when we're in person. What often happens is, some people will say, yeah, that really worked for me. Some people say that didn't work for me. And it's going to be based on your ability to tolerate carbon dioxide. And so when we breathe in, predominantly we're breathing the oxygen to use, because we need the oxygen for a whole host of different functions within the body. And then we exhale, and we're exhaling carbon dioxide. So the body has a sensor to measure carbon dioxide within our system. And so when we hold our breath, when you get that need to breathe, when you have that need to breathe, it's not because you're out of oxygen, it's because your carbon dioxide tolerance has been reached within your body, and your body's saying, right, we need to do something about this. And so linking to masks, we're wearing masks at the moment in certain situations. If you find it difficult to breathe with a mask on, it's directly related to your carbon dioxide tolerance. Now, I know they're not comfortable to wear and all that kind of stuff and the other stories around that, but on a physiological level, it's probably down to your CO2, your carbon dioxide tolerance, and that's trainable. And all you need to do is just do practices like this, where you start to control your breath, slow it down, maybe do some pauses, which we're going to do in a minute. So the next exercise is a ratio. It's just 1, 1, 2, and all that means is we're going to start with a 3 seconds. So we'll do 3 second in, 3 second hold, 6 second out. So 1, 1, 2, you could do 4 in, 4 hold, 8 out. You could do 5 in, 5 hold, 10 out. Go up or down. So that's the ratio that we're using. So we're going to do 3 in, 3 hold, 6 out. All through the nose again. Okay, so close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes, just to shut out that extra information that's coming in, to help you drop into your body. Sorry. Okay, I'll keep count again. First, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, just tuning into your body, tuning into how you feel right now. Yes, I know, through the nose, all through the nose. And so the reason nasal breathing or nose breathing is important to do that carbon dioxide, a few reasons really, but when we're breathing through our mouth, so I'm talking a lot right now, and I'm breathing through my mouth a lot, I'm expelling a lot of carbon dioxide. I'm over breathing in a way. And so at rest, we should be just through our nose. And two main reasons. One, it helps our body switch back into that recovery pattern because it changes our chemistry within our blood. And also it's just sending a signal that like it's helping us shift into a parasympathetic or recovery state. And the second reason is because it releases a chemical called nitric oxide. So when we breathe through our nose and nitric oxide released, and simply being that helps us transport and absorb oxygen more efficiently. It's a vasodilator, so it improves circulation. Simply being. So if you're blocked up through the nose at some point, if you spend some time doing some breaths where you're really slowly breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, there's a balance to this, but you can open up your nasal pathway. You can help improve the circulation to remove the blockage. If you do it too hard, it's going to block up even more. It's too sensitive. So there's a balance to that. And of course, if you're blocked, then you're not taking in as much oxygen, so you're potentially going to feel a bit more worried, I suppose. That fear response is going to kick in because you're not used to it. And so that's why another reason why breath exercise is so good for dealing with anxiety and fear and all that kind of stuff is it helps us by controlling the way you breathe. You're changing your baseline, and you are entering into a slightly uncomfortable experience, but it's controlled because you're in charge of it. And so that transfers into life. The more you build that up, that's why I love going in cold water swimming. It's the physiological benefits are amazing, but I do it for my mind. Like it's the peace that I can get within an uncomfortable situation and being in the elements. It's just amazing. So it's definitely not a bravado thing. It's a surrender, if anything, in cold water for me. So that was the second exercise. The last one we're going to do is box breathing. So we're going to just do 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold out. So that's the new thing we're going to add into. You're going to hold your breath out for 4 seconds. Okay, you can hear Stella in the background. But so I invite you to close your eyes again. Tuning into your breath, being aware of what your breath is doing right now. And I'll guide. First, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, tuning in to how you feel. Maybe how you feel physically. Maybe tune into your primary emotions again. noticing if anything has changed, if it's just stayed the same. Both are just fine. And then just opening your eyes if you haven't already. So there we go. I'm gonna put something into the chat. Okay. So this is a body scan that I'm going to leave you with. It's 20 minutes. And yeah, I would practice that rather than doing it right now. Like, I'd practice it on your own when you've got time, 20 minutes. And it's a guided exercise by me with music, and you're going to tune into your body. It's going to start in your feet, and it's going to work all the way up through your head and into your top of your head. And it's going to help you and teach you kind of tune into your sensations within your body. It's a skill, and bringing awareness into your body is a skill. It's yeah, just the more you practice it, the how do I describe it for me? Like, the more natural it feels coming into my body. And to give you an example in real life, how important that is because, say, when I'm getting emotional response, and when I'm getting angry, or I'm irritated, or I'm fearful, whatever. I went mountain biking the other day. I don't go mountain biking that often, and I love it, but it's scary. It's quite scary. So tuning into my body, like, okay, I'm scared right now, but talking about holding your breath, or my breath patterns change. Like, I tune into that, and I could breathe through it. And so I was still fearful, but I still was doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't being held back by fear. I was still going for it. And so that's an example that recently that I've used my awareness within my body, rather than staying up here. I'm scared, like fearful here. If it doesn't get into the body, if you don't get your awareness into your body, you can't unhook it. You can't diffuse that and work with it and play with it. And anxiety and fear, uncertainty is not going to go away. They're built within us, but we can take control of it. We're either on autopilot, or we take control. And not to say we don't feel these things, but we can have a huge impact on how they affect our actions. If we're always getting held back by fear, then we're never going to do the things we want to do, or we're never going to progress, or whatever it is, we're going to stay confined in a place maybe we don't want to be. It could be in a relationship we don't want to be in. It could be in a job we don't want to be in. It could be fear-based mindset to do with the pandemic this year. Fear is real, but we can work with it and learn to listen, but to not be bound by it if it's not the right thing for us, not be confined by it. So I hope that was useful. I hope that was interesting. I hope you got something from it. There's a body scan. I also mentioned Heart Math Institute, isn't it? Didn't I? Sorry. And so I'm going to put that in here right now. I really recommend, just if you found any of this interesting, you want to dive into this a little bit deeper, then Math. They're a really amazing organization to check out. They are just really, they've been studying it for a long time. There's loads of really interesting, what's the word? Research that's coming out there that you can actually use. We can use access to Breathwork, and then here's an access to Breathwork if anyone's interested. There is our access to Breathwork course. So if you've got any questions, if anyone's got any questions, please ask away. Like I said, this is going to be up as the recording is going to be up, so it's going to be available to you all the time. You've got the body scan that I've put up there that you can use, and I really recommend using that. And let me know how it goes. Let me know how it feels. And I'm going to try. Have you seen this? Sorry, I keep saying it. Have you seen this tree? Have you seen the face in the tree? the two eyes, and the nose and the mouth. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to hope to do. Well, I'm going to do more live sessions like this in the new year, and that's great, Ona. And so just kind of make it. I'm going to do the weekly teachings, like the recordings. If if you're on the email list, and you each week I run these videos on the channel. You can see on our channel here that each week I release teachings. Sorry, there's a phone in the background. But then I'm going to do a weekly live as well, and this type of stuff, and other things as well. But definitely breathwork. So thank you for joining. Have a lovely day wherever you are, and see you soon. Thank you again.